What's going on, everyone? So by now, the Utah Jazz deal is all but likely dead, right? I mean, Bojan Bogdanovic was the main prize, the main piece that the Lakers truly wanted. A sniper, a three-style big that can play multiple positions. He's not really a 3-and-D guy, but at least he tries on defense. And then they would have likely gotten Jordan Clarkson, Beasley. That would have been a pretty good return, but obviously Bogdanovic ends up going to the Detroit Pistons, and because he goes to the Detroit Pistons, I think it's all but dead. Now, maybe you could get Vanderbilt, but even then, what is the incentive for the Jazz at that point outside of just unloading guys, which I do think they need to do, and what is the asking price going to be? Because here's the thing, the Utah Jazz, they basically just set the price for these role guys. They wanted first for all of them, and the most valuable asset you had, which was Bogdanovic, you just gave away for $5 million in cap relief. So you're not getting a first for Jordan Clarkson. You're not getting a first for Mike Conley. Maybe a high protected first for Beasley. Vanderbilt, I think, could probably return a first, although he's not a good three-point shooter, and that's what many want in a sizable wing type player as he is, 6'9". They want somebody that can shoot. He shot like 14, 15% or something like that from three-point range. So I don't know if his age would be enough to return a quality first-round pick. I think there's a team that would give, like Milwaukee, let's just throw out there. Like, they're probably going to be, the 25th pick in the draft. They would probably give up a first for a guy like that, or like Toronto or something like that, especially Toronto. They love those, like, long wing type players. But nonetheless, I believe the Utah Jazz deal is likely dead. There is always the possibility of the Detroit Pistons. Now, even Bobby Marks kind of relayed this when he was breaking down this trade, that the Detroit Pistons could trade Bojan Bogdanovic now because they absorb him in cap, so they don't have to wait the 60-day period. They have some other guys that they need to unload. They need to waive a guy, which very likely is going to be Kemba Walker, or they could try to work out a deal to where they could get some assets, get some pieces. So maybe the Lakers could get in that sort of thing where you get like an Alec Burke, you get Bojan Bogdanovic, maybe Nerlens Noel and Kemba Walker, and then the Lakers just waive those two. That's a possibility because, one, Nerlens Noel is probably not going to be on that team because of everything that happened with Clutch. And then, two, Kemba, you don't really need him. You already have enough guards. But also the Lakers only have one open roster spot. So if you're swapping, say, Westbrook for Bogdanovic, there's that spot. And then the open spot would be for like an Alec Burke. Not saying that will happen, but it is something to at least look out for. It is not out of the realm of possibility that could happen. Now, Detroit, I think, will play Bogdanovic if they aren't able to trade him, but he is a much more valuable trade chip than Kelly Olynyk and Saban Lee. He just is. And he may field some assets that the Detroit Pistons might see as valuable, might see as like, hey, we're going this direction. Got the young guys, we got this. Let's continue in that trajectory. Let's get some assets for the future, because what if we're like a piece away and we can trade for that piece, start hoarding assets to maybe pull off a bigger deal later on down the line. It's something to at least think about. But the main thing that I want to talk about is, of course, the Pacers deal. Now, it was reported by Shams that the Lakers and Pacers talked earlier this week, and the Lakers rejected 2 unprotected first-round picks for Buddy Hield and Miles Turner. Now, I'm not against the Lakers turning that down. I don't think these two guys are worth that. Primarily, I think that they are both great assets. I think that they would make the Lakers very, very good. I think you can make an argument that the Lakers may have the best defense or one of the best defenses in the league if they were to pull off this trade. But beyond that, you definitely have the best defensive front court in the league, hands down, with Anthony Davis and Miles Turner. You get the sharpshooter and Buddy Hield. It doesn't really solve your wing problem, but hopefully with the bigs and you got some feisty guards, you can make up for that defensively and really kind of be a team-style defense that sort of funnels to the bigs and let them go to work. Miles Turner is also a guy that He can step out in the perimeter. He's not a guy that's going to be locking down point guards or anything, but he's quick enough, agile enough to move with it. Big concern, though, is injury. He's a big, many people call Anthony Davis street clothes. Well, he's another one, and he's coming off of a season-ending injury. How serious was that? Who knows? There were talks about, Miles Turner maybe potentially was able to come back sooner, but at that point it was like, why? The Pacers weren't a contender or anything like that. Secondly, the other big risk is that he could be a flight risk, right? He wants 20 plus million. I don't think he's worth that personally. He's a 12-7 guy that is a great shot blocker. Don't get me wrong, but he's, again, injury prone. He's not a guy that is going to completely change the fate. It's not like you get Miles Turner, it's like, oh, that's it, we're a contender now. Like, I think that this puts the Lakers a lot closer, but still a lot of questions. Buddy Hield, speaking of him, he is a dead-eye shooter, but he doesn't really offer much outside of that. Now, I do think he would hugely benefit from a guy like LeBron James, but he's not going to give you anything on the defensive end. He's a liability in that regard. His paycheck, his contract is a little concerning. He's making like 22 million a year for the next 2 years, and it's just like, it's one of those things, or 40 million collectively, something like that. And it's just, I don't think that is worth it. Now, if you could give up a first and like a pick swap, or a first in a couple seconds, then I wouldn't be against it. But I just think both firsts, it doesn't move the needle enough. I think it does make you better, but there's still a lot of questions with this actual trade. But it brings the question of, now that the Jazz are out of the conversation, right? Is this a deal that you feel the Lakers have to kind of make now? Now, I'm not against the Lakers keeping Westbrook and just continuing on. I'm really not. Ride it out this year, see what happens. I do think this team has a very good chance of being pretty good. I'm not saying that they're a contender, but I wouldn't be shocked if they are better than many people think. Many people are just writing this team off. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me, because we haven't even seen this team play. New coach, new culture, new atmosphere, new defense schemes, new offensive schemes. We got guys that aren't big on the wing, but they have length. Like Walker has like a 6'10 wingspan. Got guys that can be very serviceable. We have great guard play. We have great bigs. Big hole is the wing. And this doesn't fix that. This doesn't help with the wing defense. Now, maybe you could, if you do this deal, still have a first, maybe you can work something like that out. Maybe you can go to the Knicks and say, hey, we'll give you Kendrick Nunn and the other first. I don't know if Cam Reddish is worth the other first personally, because I think, again, a lot of question marks with him. I am super high on Cam Reddish. Guy that can play the 3, guy that can play the 4. He's a guy that has size, 7'1 wingspan, 6'8", good body, can shoot, defend, all of that. Guy that can guard the big wings, the Kawhi Leonards, the Paul Georges, the Andrew Wiggins. But the big question mark is, how effective can he be? There's a lot of questions with his work ethic. There's a lot of questions with, his commitment, and just being a locker room guy. Tibbs doesn't want him, so I think he would be obtainable. Is it worth giving up that first? And does Utah cave? I know a lot of people really want the Lakers to do a deal. I am glad the Lakers didn't cave to the Jazz deal. I really am, because that was not worth it. And guess what? Utah just proved that it was not worth it, because they gave him up for basically nothing, for $5 million in cap relief, which does get him under the tax threshold. But now they have to waive 3 players. And it's like, you're going to waive 3 players rather than getting assets. Like, if they would have gotten even a protected first, like, at least you got something, or a couple seconds or something like that. Say they got 2 second-round picks. All right, you weren't able to get a first, but you got 2 seconds and you got $5 million in cap relief. Okay, that makes sense. But now you just basically traded your best trade asset. Not only did you trade your best trade asset, you're now 3 players over the requirement that you need, and you have to waive those guys. And yes, you save $5 million in the luxury tax, because now you're not in the luxury tax, but you're just burning money for burning money and got no assets out of it. It makes no sense. They could have done the same thing with the Lakers. Like if the Lakers and the Jazz had a conversation, if the Utah Jazz says we want to save money, so we want you to take Mike Conley, Malik Beasley, Jordan Clarkson, and Bogdanovic, and we'll only take one first or like a first and a pick swap, I think the Lakers would have done that. As much as it would have sucked to take on Clarkson and Conley's contract, I think the Lakers would have been looking at it as like, well, we could actually trade Clarkson, think he's a tradable asset, and then Conley would fit really good. We got a more traditional point guard, 3-and-D style guard that we can pair next to Beasley as your 3-and-D shooting guard. You got Bogdanovic. You could keep Clarkson. You could trade Clarkson. Whatever. Think the Lakers would have done it. At least you would have gotten some. You would have answered all and solved all your problems. But now you have more problems than you did earlier, and you gave up your best asset. So I don't think I don't blame the Lakers for not giving up those two first. And I feel the same way about this Pacers deal. I think the Lakers need to stand firm on not giving up both first. I think the Lakers should re-engage with the Pacers if they haven't already. They very well could have or might. And I think you try to work something out, because look, the Pacers already went down on their asking price, right? Originally, it was Talen Horton-Tucker. We want you to take Daniel Tice, and we want both first-round picks, and now we just want 2 unprotected first-round picks. So they basically cut their asking price in half. And I'm not saying that they're going to just take one first, but if you could do one first, like if you're the Lakers, you're like, hey, you think that our firsts are going to be lottery picks. Well, we want these 2 guys, and we'll give you the 27th first, unprotected, and then we'll give you a pick swap, and maybe a second just for consolation. I would jump on that immediately. Like if the Pacers would accept that, if you're the Lakers, you take your chances. Because worst case scenario, you still have that 29th pick that you could use to move off of Buddy Hield, because the following year, he might be more desirable to teams because he's an expiring contract. And you have teams like the Spurs, who they were willing to take on Westbrook for a first. I'm sure that they would be more than happy to take on Buddy Hield because it's less money to buy out for a first. And there would be other teams that, if cap space, things like that. So I don't think Buddy Hield, if you need to move off him, I'm not saying that they will or they should. I'm just saying if they needed to, they could rather easily. It's just, I just don't think you can give up both first. If the Pacers will cave, I think that you do the deal. Like if they can do a pick swap instead of the 29th pick, which is almost the same thing. It's not that far off. Like if you believe that the Lakers are going to be a lottery team in 2027 and 2029, then you believe that they're going to be a lottery team in 2028. So as long as you're not a worse lottery team, then the pick swap is going to be valuable. So you're betting on the Lakers being worse than you are. And even if, let's say the Lakers are a playoff team, as long as they are worse than you, then the pick has value. It doesn't even have to necessarily be a lottery pick. Like you're taking a risk, but what else are you getting? There's not other teams banging on the door to get Buddy Hield and Miles Turner. And I do believe the Pacers don't really have to trade him or don't necessarily want to trade him, but I think that if they can get some assets that they believe in, that they'll do it. And I think if you're the Lakers, you make it happen. But I don't know. I mean, look, if this deal could unfold and this deal could happen, I think it would be perfect for the Lakers. I think you still have the Wayne issue, but if you can keep a first, you can maybe address that, maybe able to figure that out. I don't know. I don't know if the Lakers are going to do anything. I think it's more likely than not that the Lakers don't do anything and they just kind of go into the season the way it is. I really thought it was the Jazz or bust, and the Jazz got the deal done, so I think that's it. Although I didn't think that the Pacers would basically drop their asking price in half. So I think that there's room to work. And I think if you're the Lakers, you at least do your due diligence and you at least have that conversation and you try to re-engage and you just say, hey, we're not giving up both seconds. Is there a common ground here? Is there a way that we can make something happen? What is your bottom line? Now, we're not giving you both first, so I don't want to hear you want 2 unprotected firsts. I'll give you, a first, and I'll give you, because there is risk for the Lakers. Miles Turner is injury prone. Miles Turner could just leave, and now we have nothing. Now you have no assets to trade. You have nothing to fix the situation you're in, and you're in a tough spot because now all you have is Buddy Hield, Anthony Davis, LeBron James, and a bunch of vet minimum guys. Like, is that the position the Lakers want to be in next season? I don't think so. And I think that's why it's not worth both firsts. But if you can figure out a way to get it without both firsts, I think you got to do it. If you're the Lakers, you got to do it. But anyway, as always, what do you think? I pass the question on to you. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you think, if you're the Lakers, you got to get this done, make the deal happen? Do you think it's worth both firsts? Do you think it's not? Do you think that now that the Jazz are seemingly off the table, that it adds for more of a need to get this deal done? Look, I think the Pacers deal has been the best deal from day one. I've said that from day one. And I think that it is the best fit given the current construction of our roster. I just think we really need the wing depth in a league that is very dominated by wings. But you get a elite shooter, Buddy Hield immediately becomes your best shooter, and then you get one of the best shot-blocking defensive bigs in the game. I as much as there's a concern, if you can do it without both firsts, I think that'd be great. Look at this lineup. Imagine this on the court. Whether this is the starting lineup or it's just, a third quarter lineup or your closing lineup. Just imagine trying to score on this team. Because LeBron can still play defense when he wants to and when he's fully committed. It's just hard for him to do it, 48 minutes a game for 82 games, that kind of thing. But, if you're the Lakers and you're up 5 with like a minute and a half left, good luck. Good luck scoring against this team. Like, this team's got a little bit of everything. Shooting from everybody. Everybody can shoot the ball, at least league average, if not better. You got the defense. You got the shot blocking. You got the switchability. You got a lot of things. But anyway, however you feel about it, I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. Quick little shameless plug, everyone. If you enjoy my videos and commentary here on this channel, As It Stands Lakers, then check out the link down in the description below and go subscribe to As It Stands. Believe it or not, As It Stands was the first channel. If it wasn't for that channel, this channel would never have existed. Because of the success of that channel, it led me to want to create this Lakers channel. So do me a huge solid. If you're not subscribed over there, go check that out. Go subscribe over there. I talk all things sports, all teams, things like that, not just the Lakers. So if you just enjoy my commentary and want to hear me talk about other things, or you just, are a fan of other sports and other teams, go check that out. I promise you will not be disappointed. That being said, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot. Lets me know you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, followed by the bell notification. Stay up to date with all things sports. Join this wonderful community and all of our discussions. I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you.